The following episode of Joe's Retro Radio is dedicated to the memory of America's servicemen and women who have fought for and who continue to fight for our freedoms. Thank you for your service to the greatest country on earth. And a pleasant Sunday evening to you, my friends. Welcome to episode number 2 of Joe's Retro Radio. This week, reproduced on Sunday, November 10th, 2013. And this week's episode is dedicated to the old USO tours, primarily of World War II era, because that's when USO tours first came of age and are probably best remembered. On tonight's program, you'll hear programs such as Al Jolson, as well as Bob Hope, of course. A rare track from Laurel and Hardy. Now, they never produced a continuous radio program. However, they did audition for one. And you're going to hear a rare recording coming up later on this evening, along with the late Red Skelton and, of course, Jack Benny. Now, to give you a little bit of a background, the United Service Organizations Incorporated, or USO show, is a non-profit organization that provides programs, services, and live entertainment to United States troops and their families. Since it was founded in 1941, it has worked in partnership with the War Department, now the Department of Defense, relying heavily on private contributions and on funds, goods, and services from various corporations and individual donors. Although congressionally chartered, it is not a government agency. The USO operates 160 centers worldwide. During World War II, the USO became the GI's home away from home. It began a tradition of entertaining the troops that continues well into today. Involvement in the USO was one of the many ways in which the nation had come together to support the war effort, with nearly 1.5 million Americans having volunteered their services in some way. After it was disbanded in 1947, it was revived 3 years later for the Korean War, after which it also provided peacetime services. During the Vietnam War, USOs were sometimes located in combat zones. The organization became particularly famous for its live performances, called camp shows, though through which the entertainment industry helped boost the morale of its servicemen and women. Hollywood in general was eager to show its patriotism, and many famous celebrities joined the ranks of USO entertainers. They entertained in military bases, at home, and overseas, sometimes placing their own lives in danger by traveling or performing under hazardous conditions. Today, the USO has over 160 locations around the world in 14 countries, which includes the United States, and 27 states. As a matter of fact, in 2009, USO centers served 7.7 million visitors. In 2008, Sloan Gibson became the 22nd president and CEO of the organization. Brigadier General John I. Prey Jr. joined the USO in 2009 as Senior Vice President of Entertainment and Programs, and a year later, in 2010, Rear Admiral Frank Thorpe IV of the United States Navy joined the organization as the Senior Vice President of Marketing Communications. As of 2011, USO centers served roughly 8 million visitors. Now, we're going to play 5 programs on this program tonight, 5 old-time radio shows. I'm going to start off with Al Jolson, give a little bit of a background on Al Jolson. He was born in 1886, died in 1950. His performing style was brash and extroverted, and he popularized a large number of songs that benefited from his shamelessly sentimental, melodramatic approach. Numerous well-known singers were influenced by his music, including Bing Crosby, David Bowie, Bob Dylan, and several others. As a matter of fact, Dylan once referred to him as somebody whose life I can feel. Broadway critic Gilbert Seldes compared him to the Greek god Pan, claiming that Jolson represented the concentration of our national health and gaiety. In the 1930s, he was America's most famous and highest-paid entertainer. Between 1911 and 1928, Jolson had 9 sell-out Winter Garden shows in a row, more than 80 hit records, and 16 national and international tours. Although he's best remembered today as the star of the first talking picture, The Jazz Singer, in 1927, he later starred in a series of successful musical films throughout the 1930s. Let's see here. Sorry, my notes went a little crazy here. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, Jolson became the first star to entertain troops overseas during World War II. As a matter of fact, he was a popular guest on radio since its earliest days, including the NBC's The Dodge Victory Hour, which premiered January 1928, singing from a New Orleans hotel to an audience of 35 million via 47 radio stations. His own 1930s shows included Presenting Al Jolson, 1932, and Shell Chateau, 1935, and he was also the host of the Kraft Music Hall from 1947 to 1949. Despite such singers as Frank Sinatra, Bing Crosby, and Perry Como being in their primes, Jolson was voted the most popular male vocalist in 1948 by Variety magazine. Well, the next year, Jolson was named Personality of the Year by the Variety Clubs of America. When Jolson appeared on Bing Crosby's radio show, he attributed his receiving the award to his being the only singer not to make a record of Mule Train, which had been a widely recovered hit of that year. 4 different versions, one of them by Crosby, had made the top 10 on the charts. Jolson even joked that he had tried to sing the hit song. And so without further delay, the program that I've chosen for you from Al Jolson's collection of old-time radio shows takes us back to January 5th, 1943, on this edition of Joel's Retro Radio.
Used to powder every day to brush your teeth the Colgate way.
When you hear that jingle, you know the makers of Colgate Tooth Powder present Al Jolson, his guest Monty Woolley, and Carol Bruce, Parky Carcass, and Ray Block and his orchestra. And here's Al.
I'm sitting on top of the world, just rolling along, just rolling along. I'm sweating the blues of the world, just singing a song, just singing a song. Glory, hallelujah, I just told the parson, hey, Pa, get ready to call. Just like Humpty Dumpty, I'm going to fall, and I'm sitting on top of the world, just rolling along, just rolling along. Don't want any million, I'm getting my share. I've only got one suit, just one, that's all I can wear. A bundle of money won't make me feel gay. A sweet little honey is making me sad. I'm sitting on top of the world, just rolling along, just rolling along. And I'm sitting the blues of the world, just singing a song, just singing a song. Glory, hallelujah, I just phoned a parson. Hey, Pa, get ready to call. Just like a Humpty Dumpty, I'm a-going to fall. I'm sitting on top of the world, just rolling along, just rolling along. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all had a pleasant New Year's. I know I did. I spent mine in Miami, Florida. And Freddie, let me tell you something, boy. The trains were jammed. I had to stand all the way to Baltimore. And to pass the time, you know, I was reading a paper over another guy's shoulder. All of a sudden, the train lurched, and I swallowed a whole page of funnies.
Wait, just a moment now. Wait, what are you laughing at, Al?
I'd like to see Dick Tracy get out of that one. But I finally got a seat on the train, Freddie. I sat right next to Henry Kaiser, the shipbuilder. And that was even worse.
What happened, Al?
Well, when noontime came around, 12 o'clock, Kaiser broke a bottle of champagne over my head and said, time to go to launch.
Well, I suppose you stopped off at Washington on your way down to see your folks, didn't you?
Oh, I certainly did. And let me tell you something, Freddie. It was so crowded in Washington, honestly, I couldn't find a place to sleep. Of course, I could have stayed in that empty room at the White House. But then you never know when Mrs. Roosevelt's going to come home. But believe you me when I tell you this. I was at the White House for lunch. But we had to wait about an hour before we could eat.
Was somebody late?
No, but the president had to call up the mint and have him send over a quarter pound of butter.
Say, Al, you mean it's just as hard to get food down there as it is up here?
Hard. It's harder, Freddie. When you walk in a restaurant in Washington, here's what they do. They give you a card. The head waiter calls out a bunch of numbers, and whoever yells, not yet, lady, not yet. Now I got to tell the gag all over again. Well, anyway, in Washington, it's so tough to get anything to eat that they give you a card, the head waiter calls out a bunch of numbers, and whoever yells bingo gets something to eat. That's the idea.
Welcome back, Al.
Carol Bruce, how are you, honey?
Say, how'd you like Washington?
Oh, it's changed, Carol. I hardly recognize the place with all the Republicans back in town. Everywhere you go, people are singing that new song dedicated to the income tax department. It all comes back to me now. And now our little Colgate girl, Carol Bruce, sings Taking a Chance on Love. Take it, Carol.
Here I go again. I'm hearing trumpets blow again. All aglow again. Taking a chance on love. Here I slide again. About to take that ride again. Starry-eyed again. Taking a chance on love. I thought that cards were a famous I never would try. But now I'm taking the game up, and the ace of hearts is high. Things are mending now. I see a rainbow blending now. We'll have our happy ending now, taking a chance on love. Here I slip again, about to take that tip again. I've got my grip again, taking a chance on love. Here I prove again that I can make life move again. I'm in that groove again, taking a chance on love. I walk around with a horseshoe in clover I lie. And Brother Rabbit, of course you better kiss your foot goodbye. On the ball again, I'm riding for a fall again. I'm gonna give my all again, taking a chance on
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we present a new feature, The March of Time and a Half. First, we bring you a man from one of America's great factories. Sir, will you tell our listeners what your job is?
I work in a powder factory.
You mean you work for DuPont and fill those little cartridges with gunpowder?
No, I work for Colgate and fill those little cans with tooth powder.
Time marches on.
You know, friends, they